Blessed be everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about how you can protect yourself while you are sleeping from a energetic psychic perspective. But before we do, I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com, author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path and Tapping into Abundance. And if you want to know more about Wicca and witchcraft, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. And if you want to know more about how you can start your witchcraft practice, have a look at my free masterclass, How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. The link is in the description field below this video. Today I wanted to talk about how you can protect yourself while you're sleeping from any psychic interference. That includes people sending you negative energy and also people trying to influence your dreams or even astral projecting and causing you to have the experience of them actually being there in the room with you when you have been sleeping, and when you wake up, they're sort of there. So I had a question in Facebook about this issue, so that's why I'm bringing it up here on YouTube, doing a video about it. I'll go through some of the ways that you can be affected when you're sleeping, because we often think of protecting ourselves by doing things when we're awake, but we forget that we have to make sure that we do something when we're sleeping as well. If you do a daily practice and you work on your energy every day, you've got a lot more natural protection than if you don't do practice every day, because you're building up your vibration, you're getting a high vibe to yourself, and so it makes it difficult for people who are throwing something at a lower vibration to actually be able to match your vibration. So it's one of the reasons why it's good to do a daily practice and work on making cleansing, basically your housekeeping, your spiritual housekeeping every day. There's a few different ways that people can be victimized through sleeping. One of them, of course, is a general psychic attack. So that is something that often can manifest as insomnia for a lot of people, or bad dreams and nightmares. Other ways are that this is kind of rare, because to do this requires a lot of skill and the ability to be able to not just lucid dream, but be able to go beyond just lucid dreaming, and that is dream walking. And I have experienced this myself with somebody dream walking, influencing my dreams, so I know that it does happen and how it sort of affects you when it does happen. And also people astral projecting and manifesting, or bilocating, as it's called in astral, in your space, right next to you. And I've had that happen to me too. So it can happen, and you want to make sure that as a practitioner you are protected from that, because you don't need any of that nonsense going on when you're sleeping, and you certainly don't want people trying to unconsciously manipulate you while you're sleeping, because there's enough of that going on when you're awake. Believe me, there's so much psychological manipulation that goes on in the world. We don't need it when we're sleeping. So there's various ways that you can protect yourself that are very general. And so I'll start with some general things, and then I'll talk about my experience and what I did. So one way that you can protect yourself at all times is to make yourself a magical amulet. So that could be a necklace, it could be a ring, it could be an item. It doesn't have to be an item of jewelry. It can be something else that you always have on your person at all times. You charge it up like you would any amulet with magic and with your intent, and then that is a tool to help you protect yourself. With some instances, particularly if somebody is really trying to manipulate you or harm you, that may not be enough. It may help keep you safer, but it may not necessarily be enough. So if you feel something like that is going on, and don't get paranoid about it, because these things are rare. They're not necessarily common things. So not every nightmare that you have, not every bad dream that you have, not every bad thing that happens to you is the result of a curse or somebody dream walking or somebody trying to influence you. 9 times out of 10, or 99.9% of the time, it's just other stuff going on, particularly psychologically within yourself. So this is just in those rare circumstances, particularly if you are in a magical community, you may come across people who do have the capacity to do this. So amulets are helpful. A ward is good too. So if you're sleeping, you're going to be sleeping in a particular space. A ward will help protect that space. All a ward is pretty much a talisman or an amulet that you place somewhere in your room. So generally, if you're going to use like a sigil ward or a symbol, you would place it above the door of your bedroom. And you may want to then place another ward, same sigil of protection, could just be a pentagram that you've drawn and that you've charged up and that you place somewhere either above your door or under the mat of a door. And you can do the same with a window that you may have in your bedroom as well, just to make sure that all the entrances symbolically are covered by the ward. And what that does is it wards off the negative intentions or the harmful intentions. And that's just general psychic business as well. So you could have an amulet and you can also have a ward. And they can be exactly the same symbol. You could use your pentagram as an amulet. You can use a pentagram as a ward. You can also use gemstones. Gemstones are great at helping clear the space. I would not rely on them by themselves at all, but they are good at helping dispel some of the energy. So what happens when you're protected by a ward, an amulet, or gemstones is that the energy may still get through, but it's not necessarily going to be as effective. So it might not protect you completely, but it will help lessen the severity of the energy. Ways that you can protect yourself with gemstones is to have decent sized gemstones, and they need to be a decent size to really have that oomph and that power. So if you can get yourself one of the less expensive gemstones or crystals, like say selenite, for example, it's incredibly inexpensive comparatively to say amethyst. And you can get a lot of selenite points at a decent size and put them around your bed, at the four corners of your bed. Or if you've got a really big slab of selenite, because you can get them in big slabs, put it under your bed. And that can help raise the vibe of your bedroom quite nicely. So you can protect yourself that way as well. You can use essential oils, but the problem with essential oils is they're volatile, so they don't last very long. So they're not going to necessarily last all night, but they can help you, particularly if you're feeling anxious or anything like that, to just add basically to your toolkit. So if you feel that there is some negative influence or somebody is doing something untoward to you in your sleep, then don't just rely on one thing to protect you. Grab a few things, grab crystals, do a ward, do an amulet. And also, if you want to, do yourself a magic circle or a Wiccan circle and sleep in the circle while the circle is still up. So when I had this experience myself of having somebody doing dream walking and also astral projecting, they were actually living in the same house as I was living in. So it was much easier for them to do it. And what I experienced was the person being basically right there. So I'm lying in bed and the person was right there. And it was like they were there. And another experience I had of the same person was influencing a dream that I had, which was quite a disturbing dream. And I didn't know at the time that this person was practicing these things. I later found out that they had been practicing astral traveling for quite some time, and they were a very adept practitioner, so they certainly had the capacity to be able to both dream walk and astral travel. So the way that I ended up protecting myself, and this was at a time when I hadn't been practicing magic for about 5 years. So this was when I was having my Sufi experience, basically. And I hadn't been practicing magic, so I was a bit rusty. And so the first thing I thought of that I remembered from my past witchy days was the pentagram being a symbol of protection. So what I did was I drew the pentagram circle. So I opened a circle around the bed and invoked, with the pentagram, invoked the archangels of each direction. Because at the time I had been working with the archangels before I had stopped practicing magic. So the archangels came back, and I also had, still had a copy of the Golden Dawn book by Israel Regardie and the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, except I didn't do a banishing, I actually did an invocation because I wanted them there to protect me. And I also did an invoking earth pentagram at the door of the bedroom. Once I did that, I woke up one night still sort of in a hypnagogic state, and I saw the pentagram that I'd drawn at the door as a spiral. So it wasn't a pentagram, it was a spiral. And it was like there was this laddery thing coming through it. And the person who'd been guilty of doing the dream walking and the astral traveling was on the other side of the door in the hallway. And they were wanting to come in but couldn't. And they were particularly adept. They were actually trying to get me to grab the ladder so that they could come in. And this was a really weird experience. But I knew from that point he could not come in. He could not astral project and he could not dream walk. He was out there. And that, of course, gave me confidence that, okay, even though I'm a bit rusty with this, I'm on the right track. So I did that every night. And the dreams that I had when I was totally protected with the circle and the pentagrams were really wonderful dreams where I was connecting to my higher self. I was having dreams that were about what was really going on in the house and the dynamic with this person and some other people at the time. And I really started to, because the interference from them wasn't there anymore, I was really connecting to my own higher self and learning a lot about what was really going on. And so that protection was very effective for me. So if you do feel that that's happening to you, or potentially could be happening to you, there's no harm in doing up a Wiccan circle, sleeping right through till the next morning, and then you can banish the circle when you get up in the morning, and banish the pentagram at the door when you get up in the morning. And the reason you need to banish the next day is because you don't want to be inviting any elementals into your home. Because what happened to me, because I was rusty, I didn't do the banishing and I ended up with an earth elemental, little mischievous one, running around the house. So you want to make sure that you do your invocations and then close your circle in the morning, or definitely do a banishing pentagram at your door in the morning when you wake up. If the person isn't living with you, so they're not in the same house, I would also do the pentagram at the window as well. So any entrances to your bedroom, you might have 2 doors to your bedroom. You want to make sure that you secure with the earth pentagram, so an invoking pentagram in the evening, and then banishing pentagram in the morning. And of course, I teach all about the pentagrams, banishing and invoking in the Mystery Witch School 101 course. So if you want to learn Wicca with me and to practice the craft with other people, certainly have a look at Mystery Witch School 101 Academy. You'll learn everything that you need to know as basically a first degree witch. There's a little bit of second degree in there too. And you learn protection magic, candle magic, working with the Sabbats, working with the deities, working with the moon, the lunar energies, working with Hecate, and also energy work and self-knowledge work as well, because knowledge is everything. And the stronger you get within yourself from practicing the craft every day, the more confident you are with these sorts of situations if they ever do arise, and you can be not afraid when these things happen to you. You can just go, okay, this is something that I have the opportunity to learn to utilize in my magic, and I'm going to do whatever it is that it takes and learn from it. And that's the way to handle these situations. Learn from the situation, and you'll be the wiser for it. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from mysterywitchschool.com. Blessed be.